Hi, it's Gracey Tech here and welcome back to my channel. So a lot of you guys have been asking me about the fan noise, the heat and the backlit keyboard on my wonderful new Dell XPS 9300 13-inch version. So this has an i7 core and also has 16 gigabytes of RAM, so it is quite powerful for such a small and thin form factor. What you're going to see in this video is some footage from when I was actually exporting my last video, the 2-month review of this laptop. So during that time the fans did kick on, so that's where you're getting the footage from. The heat got to a moderate level, and I also take the opportunity to show you a backlit keyboard. So that's the video you're watching. Roll the intro clip. I don't know how clearly you guys can hear that, but that is the sound of the fans. It's very quiet, especially compared to the razor blade I had before. So there is 20 minutes of footage, which means obviously there is more to process and the exporting time is greater. Yep, so the fans aren't loud at all. I'm talking quietly because people are sleeping at this time. It's 3:40 a.m. and I'm still up. Just really want to upload this and be done with it. So here you can see how much CPU and RAM the Adobe Premiere Pro exporting process is taking. So I have 16 gigabytes of RAM and an i7 processor. So you can see that about 44 of the CPU is being used, but that's including some other things running in the background. Adobe Premiere Pro is taking up 27% and quite a lot of them RAM. My card computer. We'll see how long it actually takes for the XPS to export this video. Right now we only have a minute and a bit left to export. I think now, since it's been running for about 15 minutes, we should check what the temperature is like. So, yep, very cool on the palm rest. You can feel it's cool at the edges and hottest around this area, but it's not hot at all, it's just warm. But saying that, it's a cold winter night in Australia right now, so that might be helping it. Yeah, it's warmest around there. We'll just... So there we go, we have the fans over there, the cooling vent. Yeah, so the hottest patch is just right here, and it's honestly not that hot. Like, it's a comfortable temperature, but like I said, it's a winter night in Australia right now. I think it's about 9 degrees, so that will be helping the ventilation. As you can hear, the fan's really not that loud. Oh, it finished exporting, great! Hi guys, now I will show you the backlit keyboard. So obviously it's pitch black right now, and that's not normal. If you're trying to do homework, you'd probably use it in a dim setting, but I thought I'd show it to you in its full glory. So it activates when you press F5, and this is the brightest setting. So this is a bit too bright for me. I prefer this setting, which is one down. It's more comfortable for long periods. If you tap it again, that gets rid of any backlighting at all. I will activate it again just to show you how long you can leave it on idle for. I think it's getting dimmer now. Yep, so that took about 10 to 11 seconds for it to just idle off. And the good thing is you just need to touch the touchpad and that will reactivate the backlighting. It just needs to know you're active, so obviously that's good because you don't have to press a key and ruin anything. So as I said before, I prefer the dimmer setting because if you're using it in this darkness, then you prefer it because it doesn't strain the eye as much. Personally, this backlighting for me is not the greatest backlighting out there, but it is fully functional and at a glance it looks quite good. So there is some patchiness, so under some keys it is brighter, like under this U key and some of these on the side, as well as near the top, so there's that. And this is the brightest setting, which I dislike because it's too bright. My opinion is that even their lower brightness setting is a bit too bright, especially for long usage, but again, it is fully functional and it compares well to my work laptop. They look about the same, and my work laptop is the HP EliteBook, but obviously this isn't going to compete with like a Razer Blade and its RGB backlighting. So that actually brings me to the end of the video, guys. What are your thoughts? How did the fan noise sound to you? Could you hear any of the high-pitched whining noise? And what are your thoughts about the backlit keyboard? My personal opinions, warning, personal opinions only. So my personal opinion is that the fan noise is really not something that is an annoyance. The video, as I said before, is recorded really late at night, so it was very quiet. Even sitting half a meter away, it was just like a whooshing noise that, yeah, it's noticeable, but it's not annoying in any way. And if I was sitting further away, say 2 meters, like I was one of your neighbors sitting at uni or in the office or anything, it wouldn't be annoying to me. Especially if there was actually something going on in the background, like people murmuring, people walking by, your lecturer talking if you're sitting in a lecture hall. So it's really not that loud. In terms of the heat, again, they did a good job in keeping the heat away from your fingers. So the heat was cooler and in these areas and really only hot around there. And so when you're typing, especially when I type, I keep my palm here and I type like this, so it kept the heat away from where I would feel it the most. So I do think that was a good design choice, and obviously a lot of laptops do this, but it helps a lot. And yeah, heat is not really an issue for me. Even when at its hottest part, the center bit, I think it only got to around 45 to 50 degrees and it wasn't that bad, if I'm honest. The other thing is the backlit keyboard. So I think this is the biggest area for improvement for the Dell. It's a very standard, perfectly functional backlit keyboard, but it's not the best. There were patchy bits where it was brighter, but generally it was quite a good brightness. Saying that, I do prefer a dimmer keyboard, especially if I am going to be using it in the pitch darkness, because it really starts to strain the eyes after using it for a significant period of time, like maybe over 10 minutes, because that brightness is really in contrast with the darkness around you. So I would appreciate a dimmer setting, so even that second dimmer option is not dim enough for me. And that's where I really prefer my old laptop. So that was the 2017 Razer Blade 14 that had a fully customizable backlighting. It was RGB colored. It was so beautiful. You could, do heaps of crazy shit with it. The best part of it was that you could really adjust how bright it got, and you could get it to a very dim level, which is very comfortable when you're doing anything, when you're typing in the darkness. Bringing it back to just the Dell XPS, the backlit keyboard is perfectly functional. It looks good. It's a decent brightness when you're using it in a dim light setting, but the only thing is that if you're working in a very dark area or when you're using it in the pitch darkness, it does get a little bit too bright and it can start hurting your eyes after a bit. So it's not the best for using it in that kind of situation. So thank you for joining me today. I'm very glad to see you guys on camera for the first time. because we've reached 600 subscribers and I thought it'd be cool to just show my face. So thank you very much. This has been really fun. This is Gracey Tech, over and out. I have no idea how to talk on camera. So a lot of you guys have been asking me about heat, fan noise, and also the backlit keyboard of my... Where the fuck is it? Where is it? Where's my laptop? Of my one... Oh, it's the wrong side. Of my wonderful new Dell XPS